this finger pointing rant isn't directed at you folks. But if it was someone, if this was the model person, they had student loans in 2019, they had the funds to make the payments got paused. They didn't make any progress on their student loans, or for that matter, any other bills. That's your fault and that's your problem. If you fall in that category and you didn't take advantage of what I think we both agree is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Now, corporations may get told in the future they don't have to pay interest on some stuff, but for regular people, this will probably never happen again. If you had the means to capitalize and didn't, I'm just going to say shame on you. That was probably a big blunder on your part. Now, I'm not saying you can't right the ship, but you missed out on a big ass opportunity, and you should
definitely
be yourself into you know what right now. What do you think?
You know, I agree 1000%. But on the same hand, I feel like right now, since we know more than likely, what do you think the percentage of what is the percentage that the Supreme Court will have a verdict between now and July?
Yeah, I think it's a 90%, 95% chance that they're gonna come out with their opinion in probably late June.
Late June?
Yeah, it's gonna be late June. It's gonna either be the last 2 weeks of June or the first 2 weeks in July. That would be the time frame where I think it's gonna come out.
But I still don't think it's gonna be in the forgiveness favor.
I agree. I just
So I'm just
I can't see it happening.
Right. So the likelihood that we will have to start paying back our student loans in about 3 months is pretty high, right? Right. So what I'll say is, let's not look at the past. The past is the past. You see what I'm saying? So I'm a budgeter. And so what I would usually what I would say is, if somebody came to me and they said they wanted to get their finances in order, normally I would say, we need to look at the past. How is our spending? Let's get 3 months of our bank statements, our credit card statements, everything. Let's take a look at it. But you know what? That could be kind of traumatic. We're bringing the past in. That's going to be kind of traumatic. So if you don't want to go that route, how about let's just start fresh. Let's start with the month of June. So let's write down, how much money are we expecting to bring in for June? What are our debts? What do we owe for our regular bills, and then all that kind of stuff. Let's write that down. Let's start fresh there. So what I would say is, right now, the probability of the student loans coming September 1st is a very, very high probability. So how can we prepare now within the next 3 months?
Right.
So that's probably what I would say. So let's forget about the past. If you was living it up and all that kind of stuff, and you wasn't, that's okay. No problem. You see what I'm saying? I'm not gonna hold you on that. But now
I'm gonna hold you on that. I still agree with everything else, but
you don't know. I'm not, you see what I'm saying?
So right.
We have to start now. We have to take control. You see what I'm saying? So we have 3 months. Let's take control now, and let's get that budget in. Let's see, how can I even just within the 3 months set aside one payment? You see what I'm saying? So maybe I'm just ready for one payment, and then by the time the 3 months come, then we're ready to start.
You ahead of the game.
You know what I'm saying? Get ahead of the game. So I think that's kind of how I would put it, and kind of start there. But I agree 1,000,000% with what you're saying. It's just like, if you didn't kind of come up in this situation and it was like a loss to where either you didn't stay the same or get a little bit better, unless it was something that kind of happened, then that's kind of, like a wasted opportunity. But let's kind of start here and now and get our situation together so that we're ready September 1.
Let me ask you a question, all right? Because I think this whole Biden trying to do the forgiveness and the pandemic, I think it highlighted what you said earlier, that student loan forgiveness isn't the answer. While all this process was playing out and people waiting and waiting, in a few months, we're going to have a whole new batch of high school seniors signing up to take student loans out, to go to college. the rate of college has increased over the past 10 years, something crazy like 70%, where wages are at like 10% or something to that effect. So let me ask you a question. Okay, I know we talked about this before, and you kind of mentioned it, that forgiveness isn't the resolution or the way to solve it. That's just a short-term thing because people are still taking out student loans. But do you think that the federal government student loan system should even be in existence? Do you think that they should just say, you know what, we're going to nix this federal student loan program altogether?
I don't know that I would go that far. I think the program is good. It just needs some like overhaul.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because for me, with schools pricing going up, but I do feel like kind of on the back end, they have made it to where more colleges, well, let's say in the state of Tennessee, I believe you can go to a community college for 2 years and you can get that paid, and then you can go on to a 4-year college. And so I think that they're doing things on the front end to help that. But the issue is student loans now, and with people going into default and the interest. So I really feel like it's the interest that's what's messing it up. But I think that there needs to be more education. But I feel like from the time that I went to school until now, I do think that there's more education in regards to student loans and things like that. And I know that they have a lot of you know how you can get the scholarships, because there's millions and millions of dollars in scholarships that students don't even use. You see what I'm saying? And so I feel like we probably need to lean more to that. And I think that the like for me, I don't necessarily feel like student loans are bad. I just keep going back to the interest, because I feel like you have, let's say, 40,000 in student loans. Once you get out, you have your regular interest, and then they tack on all that interest for the 4 years. And they still keep on adding the interest. And I feel like that's why you can't pay the student loans down.
Right.
To me, compared to, let's say, like a car loan and all that kind of stuff. But then additionally, I feel like there needs to be more protections in regards to student loans, like auto loan debt and things like that. So more consumer protections in that regard as well.
Okay. All right. I think that's a fair point. I wanted to highlight this comment here because I was like, man, this is like she read my mind. The student loan program is the problem, and is the one area that has not been addressed for change.
But what specifically do you feel like is the problem in the student loan? Because I do feel like there is an issue, but it's not the whole student loan program.
I think generally, there's always the general rule is, and you can go ahead and chime in, Aaron, and answer what do you think is the problem. But let me give you my take on it. The cost and increase of higher education prices directly correlates to when the student loan program was actually created. Right. Prior to the creation of the student loan program, the affordability and the rate that college tuition increase was minuscule, a couple of percentage points a year. Now you see 10%, 17% point jumps in a year. And let's just think about it. It makes sense because private, public, for-profit, nonprofit, at the end of the day, schools are about getting that dollar. And a lot of, how could I put this? A student loan is the only loan that anyone in America can get without showing an ability to repay it. Every other loan you get, you have to show ability to repay, with the exception of a student loan. So I think what schools do is, because they know you can get that loan regardless, let's come out with books where we rank colleges. You got people cheering for their schools as if they're sports teams, because now with college rankings, people have these jaded views of, oh, I'm in love with this school for whatever reason, just because they heard about it, or it has this prestigious aura. But because the schools know the federal government is going, if your school costs $20,000, if you want to take $60,000 worth of loans out, they'll let you. And the schools know that. And because of that, I think that's why you see these prices just increasing. So I definitely think that the student loan program in and of itself is the problem. Okay. Now, getting rid of it, is that's the solution? No, because there is some benefits to the program because it does allow people who may not have the means to go to actually go. Now, hey, if some high speed politician out there watching this and you want to propose this, I'm gonna let y'all have this on me. If it were unilaterally up to me, I would have a chart and the statistics to show what is the average first year salary for these majors. Whatever your major is, your student loans that you get throughout your 4 years cannot be more than your first year salary, when the average first year salary of a person who graduated with that major. So if you graduate with a criminal justice degree and the average person with a criminal justice degree makes $45,000 in their first year, you got 4 years to figure out how you're going to allocate this $45,000. That's the maximum loan amount we'll give you, because we don't want you to graduate and just be completely over leveraged to where you're making payments, but your loan balance continues to go up. So I think something like that.
It's not a game.